Lust is one of those feelings that can easily consume us. It's not just a simple desire or curiosity, it's much more intense than that. It has a way of embedding itself in us, making it hard to ignore or shake off, and it's something that's deeply rooted in who we are, tied to our very DNA. Now, when we think of lust, most people immediately connect it to sexual attraction, but there's more to it than just wanting someone physically. Lust can appear in various forms, and it doesn't always have to do with sex. It drives us toward many things, whether that's power, material possessions, emotional connections, or even knowledge. If you find yourself relating to these ideas, don't worry, this video isn't about judging or shaming anyone. It's about understanding ourselves better. By recognizing where our intense desires come from, we can increase our self-awareness and potentially change behaviors that aren't serving us well. So, let's dive into the different types of lust, and along the way, you might just discover which one resonates with you the most. Let's start with the most obvious one, sexual lust. While it's easy to think of lust as just wanting to be intimate with someone, it goes deeper than that. Sexual lust is an overwhelming desire for physical gratification. It's not about connecting with someone on an emotional or personal level. Instead, it's about seeking that rush of satisfaction, often over and over again, without much thought to the person involved. If sexual lust is what drives you, it may lead to hypersexuality, where you feel the need for frequent encounters, sometimes with multiple people, in order to feel fulfilled. This can lead to problems in relationships, as the pursuit of physical pleasure overshadows the deeper connections that come with intimacy. Next on the list, we have emotional lust. This one is tricky because it can sometimes be mistaken for love, but it's not about loving someone for who they are. Instead, it's about craving the feelings that come with falling in love. You might be in love with the idea of love itself, constantly seeking the rush of new relationships and the excitement they bring, even when there's no specific person in mind. People with emotional lust tend to romanticize everything. They imagine perfect, fairy tale-like relationships, and when the reality doesn't measure up, they move on to the next person, still chasing that idealized version of love. Now let's discuss power lust. Power lust is all about control. It's the desire to be in charge, to have influence over others. If you find yourself constantly wanting to lead, to have the final say, or to shape the world around you to your vision, you might have a lust for power. People driven by this form of lust often see others as tools or resources to help them achieve their goals. Friendships and relationships can become secondary to their ambition, and they might struggle to let go of connections that no longer serve them, holding onto them for potential future advantage. But power in itself isn't inherently bad. In fact, being a leader can be positive. The challenge comes when the lust for control starts to blind us to the needs and feelings of those around us. Next, we have material lust. Material lust is something most of us have felt at some point in our life. It's that burning desire for the best of everything, the latest clothes, the fanciest car, the biggest house. It's not just about wanting to be comfortable, it's about always wanting more, bigger, better. The tricky part about material lust is that it doesn't discriminate. Whether someone is already wealthy or comes from a more modest background, anyone can fall into the trap of thinking that having more things will make them happier. But the truth is, material possessions rarely bring lasting satisfaction. Studies have even shown that the more we focus on acquiring things, the less happy we tend to be. There's nothing wrong with enjoying nice things, but when our happiness relies solely on material wealth, we might find ourselves feeling empty in the long run. Let's move on to intellectual lust. If you're someone who loves to debate, to challenge ideas, and to show off your knowledge, intellectual lust might be something you experience. This kind of lust isn't about physical or emotional gratification. It's about seeking mental superiority. You want to be the smartest person in the room, and you enjoy proving it. While having a thirst for knowledge is a great thing, intellectual lust can sometimes lead to arrogance. It can cause us to look down on others who don't know as much, or to use our intelligence as a way to boost our ego. The key is to balance the desire to learn and grow with empathy and humility. After all, nobody knows everything, and there's always something we can learn from others. Finally, there's spiritual lust. This one's a little different because it's tied to something more abstract, the pursuit of spiritual growth or enlightenment. For many people, spirituality is a source of comfort, meaning, and purpose, but when it becomes an obsession, it can lead us down a dangerous path. Spiritual lust is when the desire for growth becomes overwhelming, making us constantly chase after new experiences or deeper connections to the divine without ever feeling truly satisfied. This can lead to extreme beliefs or behaviors in the name of spiritual fulfillment. It's important to remember that spirituality is a journey, not a race. True growth comes from within, and it doesn't need to be measured by how much we know or how enlightened we feel. Whether it's sexual, emotional, material, or spiritual, lust in itself isn't inherently bad. It's when these desires take over our lives, pushing out everything else, that they can become problematic. So take a moment to reflect. Has any form of lust been driving your actions? Has it helped you grow, or has it held you back in some way? Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward finding more balance and fulfillment in life. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. See you next time.